I'm going to start this out as a quick tutorial on how we set up when we're hauling these vehicles. The first thing that we have to do is hook up our hydraulic lines and electric connections to here. And then after we get that set up, we'll turn the PTO on, and that'll allow the trailer to start working, and we'll move to the back. Second part after we hook up the hydraulic lines. I turn the PTO on, I have pressure, I have to turn this box on. Switch, check my battery, it's full. Take my remote and we move to the back. I can also add, while we're at this point, in my trailer, here's the box. I try to keep everything off the floor. This is the front. And I try to keep all my ramps level. If you look, they're pretty level all the way across the back here, going all the way to the end. I try to keep all the straps put up on the walls, securely out of the way, avoid a trip hazard, especially for me. I wouldn't say I'm klutzy, but busy, and I'm left-handed, so keeping everything up off the floor, out of the way. I'm moving my bike obviously when we start hauling, but keep my ramps level just until I know what vehicles I'm going to get. These ramps, I'll move up. These ramps can go all the way up out of the way, or they can even come down further for putting taller vehicles up top. So we'll go to the back and open up. All right, so this remote has all these buttons. They control the racks up top, and then it controls this gate on the back, which is called a lift gate. Works on a kind of a leverage system. When it opens, I'll show you what that looks like. I just stop it there for just a second so I can kind of show you how this works. Those chains up here are safety chains. They hold the weight of the door. That's what allows it to pivot like that. And then I'll raise this up, undo those safety chains. That's why you never want to stand behind this door when it's opening, so that it doesn't just completely fall in case something happened with those safety chains en route. So we always make sure that we're clear of those. That's the upper rack, lower rack. Look all the way to the front of the trailer there. So I undo both those safety chains, and then I use my remote to lower this all the way down. Now the cars drive onto this, which is really flat to the ground for low profile race cars. We can raise them up to this ramp and go on the bottom, or keep going to the top, to there, and drive them in the top. Same process using the remote. Usually a quiet, smooth operation. The wintertime things slow down quite a bit because the hydraulics thicken up. Just wait till those get even. Right there. If I have a big SUV, I will raise these all the way up so I can drive underneath them. And then I'll pin them so they don't come back down during transit. That's the bottom. Goes all the way in. All the way into the front. That's why it's nice to have things off the floor. And then we're going to take it up to the top. The elevator ride continues. All these trailers are different. Mine has 4 decks up top, which enables me to put in a different configuration. So it depends on what the vehicles are. Sometimes we have to back them in, tilt them up really high to get the next vehicle underneath them. Sometimes we need to put a really big one up top. We lower it all the way. You see this ramp is still moving up. Now if you'll notice, it's a little bit crooked. As you're going up, I can adjust that. And level it out, which is very difficult to do with one hand when I'm not looking at it. There we go. Then I drive the vehicle in on the top ramps and go all the way to the front. One note of caution, if you ever do this as a car hauler, never step in the middle. This is just fabric all the way up. It's fabric just to keep anything from dropping on the cars below. Sometimes we hang plastic underneath it as well. Just don't ever step in the middle. Also up here on the top ramps, I have these holes. We call them pooch holes. They use a J hook. The hook kind of looks like that on our ratchet straps. And we also have chains for the heavier vehicles that we need to actually tie down more secure. On the bottom, it transitions from the J hook holes or the pooch holes into an E track. So depending on where I park the vehicle will depend on which ratchet strap I have to use. And then here again it transitions back to the pooch holes for my ramps, and then back to the E tracks, and then all the way up. And then I keep my straps where I can get to them easily, all the way up to the front. Well, I hope that gives you guys some kind of idea of what it looks like inside a trailer, how this works, how we tie vehicles down. I apologize for not being able to show a lot of my vehicles. They're prototypes, next year models, photo shoots, so a lot of times they're not allowed to be released yet. But the ones that I can show, I will show that I'm loading, and maybe give another video on how to tie those down correctly. All right, thanks for watching.